Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. And we are finally on the last love language. It's been a long journey, but we have finally reached the end. So, if you've realized, if we've gone through these other four love languages, words of affirmation, quality time, receiving gifts, acts of service, and none of them spoke as your love language or your spouse's, then this last one is it. There's no other love language but these five. So this one is it. So we are talking about physical touch. So physical touch is wanting bodily contact to feel loved. So when you have bodily contact, you feel loved. Now, many people mistake physical touch with sex. Yes, some spouses, when they have sex with their spouse, they feel loved. Having that moment together makes them feel loved. But many times people say, many spouses will say, especially men will say, physical touch. But Guy Chapman asked a question. When you have sex with your wife, do you feel loved? And they say, not necessarily loved, but enjoyed the moment. So that doesn't mean because you enjoy sex, you are physical touch. Okay. And by then, when I'm talking about the context of sex, when I'm talking about sex, I'm talking about it in the context of marriage. As a believer, I do not believe and I do not advocate for sex before marriage. So I'm not talking about sex in the dating. I'm not talking about sex in the dating situation. I'm talking about marriage. For me, that's my stand. So anyway, so a spouse can feel loved when they've had sex with their spouse. But usually people now confuse that by thinking physical touch is their love language. So I'm here to change and your perspective on physical touch. Physical touch is the enjoyment of things like hugs. You really, really like hugs. When you hug, you feel loved. I've noticed with my female friends, I do not hug men. I do not like hugging men unless you're my close relative. Because let me just say, I'm not physical touch. So I do not enjoy hugs from the opposite gender unless you're my husband. So now, I never, especially in the beginning, I didn't like hugs. When I would be hugged, I used to stiffen. But now, when I learned about love languages and I realized many of my female friends are physical touch, they've gotten me to the point I've gotten kind of comfortable and used to hug. So that's not, it's not as intense as it used to be. But holding hands, yo, with my female friends, when they want to know how ladies sometimes you like holding your best friend's hand when you're walking, swing, swing, swing. For me, yo, when usually someone holds my hand, I don't fully hold your hand back because to me it's awkward. My hand becomes pretty limp. Yeah. And so now when you're physical touch, you like hugs, you enjoy hugs. I'm just saying, I'm using myself as an example for you to realize these things, hugs, your man putting his hand around your waist, you like it. You like it when he holds your hand, you like it when he cuddles with you. For some women and for some, yeah, let me just talk for women. Let me talk for women. For some women, it's not natural. It's not. Not every woman likes to be touched like that. Just because many like it doesn't mean all are. And I'm a living example. I remember I used to make jokes, and actually they're not jokes. I was pretty serious. That I would like a 7 by 7 bed, because I used to imagine now he wants to cuddle me. I want my space. So if you have a 7 by 7, my husband and I have a 7 by 7 bed. we are not touching. We are so far apart. Because I used to imagine it's the hot season. It's so hot outside. It's hot in the room. Then he wants to cuddle. So his bodily heat is adding to the already hot weather outside and in the bed. And I'm thinking, my goodness, I'm sweating. I'm uncomfortable. Maybe he wants me to sleep on his chest. And I'm wondering, man, me, I just want my pillow. So, as I'm explaining this to you, I'm sure you can see that physical touch is not natural for every woman. And I'm sure I'm not the only woman out there who doesn't like physical touch. But as I've said with all the other love languages, if my husband happens to be physical touch, I will accommodate. I will sacrifice my flesh. I will put it aside to love him the way he wants to be loved. Because the most important thing about love languages is the word love. And it's about loving them the way they want to be loved and not the way you want to be loved. So sometimes that's what I was saying, we'll do things we are not comfortable, we'll do things we don't want. We'll have to work really hard, we'll have to invest a lot. Because for me, investing, for example, cuddling, it's an investment. But as I say, just the same way you've done things in life and you've gotten better, it's the same thing with learning someone's love language. It gets better and it gets easier. So that's what physical touch is. And then I want to talk to the ladies. Ladies, when your husband is physical touch, imagine it's okay to take initiative. It's okay to make the first move. If he's the one who is always initiating hugs, he's the one who is always initiating holding of hands, change that. Be the one to do it. Remember, we are loving them the way they want to be loved, right? So let me paint a picture. You're walking together and he's on the phone, for example. He's having this phone call with someone, and usually even when he's on the phone, he holds your hand, but this time he doesn't. How about just taking his hand and holding it? Surprise him. I'm telling you, for a few seconds, he'll even forget he's on the phone, because he's like, even turns to look at you and say, he looks at you, then he looks at you two holding hands, and he's like, you've held my hand. He'll feel loved, because for him, that's his love language. He'll feel loved, loved, loved. Yeah? So make the first move, women. It's not always the man who is supposed to make the first move. And the man said, yeah, so be willing to make the first move. And then also, for those who are not physical touch, be it the husband or be it the wife, just because someone is physical touch doesn't mean they want to be touched all the time. So now this is where the work comes in. We'll need to learn and gauge their body language when and where when they want to be touched. Maybe you're in a place they don't want you touching them, or maybe they're in a mood they don't want you touching them. As I'm giving you this example, it doesn't mean every second and every minute you have to physical touch, physical touch, physical touch, physical touch. No. That's not how it works. Even for compliments, than for words of affirmation. I'm not saying every second I want to hear a compliment. No. So it's not every moment you're touching. Oh, you're hugging, you're holding hands, you're cuddling, you're making sure there's a bodily part, her hand is always being rubbed. No, that's not what I mean. Just learn. I can't give you a direct answer. What I can say is, when you do things in life, you make mistakes and you learn, right? So as you're learning when to do the physical touch with your spouse, you'll make mistakes. Maybe at this time they say, oh no, not now. That doesn't mean you stop. Continue. You learn when. It'll become easier. You'll even know when and when not. Okay, so be consistent. Just be consistent. You learn. Just like the way you learned everything else in life, you will learn. All right, let me see if there's anything else I need to add on physical touch. Just a reminder. So when it comes to physical touch, it's not necessarily about sex. All right. So I think physical touch doesn't have a lot of explanation. It's pretty direct. It can just be misinterpreted, and that misinterpretation is thinking because I enjoy sex means I feel loved when I have it. Okay, don't mix the two. Enjoyment and love are two different things. I enjoy when I would I would enjoy when my husband does an act of service for me, but that doesn't mean I feel loved. Okay, I enjoyed it. I really did. Even that's why I appreciated him for it, and that's why I thanked him for it, but that doesn't mean I feel loved. Let's say he was to do that act of service all the time, I would be like one of those wives complaining to Gary Chapman that my husband doesn't love me because he didn't show me love, and yet he's been doing a lot of acts of service for me. All right, I just wanted to say something before I'm done with this video. When it comes to your love languages, yes, you've learned your love language and you've learned your spouse's love language. I don't want you to get to the place where you put pressure. You have to love me the way we learned to love each other. Because now you know my because you know my love language, you have to love me. No, don't make them your source of happiness, and don't ever make your spouse your source of happiness, your source of emotional support. You'll make them feel like love language is becoming a chore more than an enjoyment. Okay, it'll even become harder than it already is. So don't put pressure for them to love you. People make mistakes. They can forget. Okay, they can forget to show you love when they were supposed to. Since I'm not married, I'll just give situations with the people I'm around. I really like quality time, quality conversation, and I like it when it's uninterrupted, like I had said. So now when the person I'm with and I really need their uninterrupted time is busy on the phone with one thing or the other, I have to understand they have shown me that uninterrupted love before. Just remembering they have done it before. So it's just at this situation and at this time they were not able to do it. So I shouldn't get upset about it. I know they love me, but at this situation, I'm just not receiving it. At this time, I'm not receiving it. But have I received it many times? Yes, I have. So it's like counting your victories. So don't get upset that it has to be all the time. Sometimes when you want it, the person is not able to give it to you. But, capital B-U-T, don't deprive your spouse of that love language. Okay, because I can tell you, don't put pressure, don't make them your source. Then you hear me saying that, then you sit back and relax and say, see, she said I don't know, needs to put pressure on me. No, yeah, don't put pressure, but don't deprive. You've learned this love language for a reason. I'm just trying to put in a scenario where sometimes in situations you're not able to receive, you're not able to get it. So don't put that pressure. And I've just remembered that I had said in one of my videos that when I'm done with the two, when I was supposed to have explained something when I was done with the two love languages that were mine. Since I forgot to do it then, let me do it now. When it comes to words of affirmation, encouraging words, and quality time, how do they come? I had said my two love language, my two love languages complement each other. So now I want to explain how and what I mean by complementing each other. Quality time, quality conversation, strong, very strong. And the reason why I like quality time, quality conversation is because I like it when we are talking, then someone says, oh yeah, by the way, you did really well today. By the way, you looked so beautiful today. You looked gorgeous. I look forward to that when I'm having quality time with someone and quality conversation, the compliments come in. So that's why I say they complement each other, because as I'm spending time with that person, I'm sure at some point a compliment will come in there depending on the conversation. So that's why I say the two complement each other. Because I sat down and thought about it. Why am I quality time, quality conversation and encouraging words? Because I like it when I spend time with someone, they get to compliment me. Not all the time. I just like it when it comes into when we're having a conversation and a compliment comes in. It's really exciting. So that's what I meant by my two love languages complement each other. Maybe yours may not, but you're still bilingual. Either way, even though they don't complement, they're still bilingual. So maybe your acts of service and quality time, maybe your words of affirmation and physical touch. You see, and if they complement each other, well and good. And I know our spouses have a lot of work because they have to now learn two love languages, not just one. So whoop whoop to the bilingual love language speakers. Anyway, the next video I'll be doing is it'll be more of a questionnaire, because if you haven't known what your love language is so far, and it's maybe not still very clear, I'm going to do like a questionnaire. I'll ask questions. If you're able to answer those questions, then that's your love language. Then the last video I'll do is the love tank. And again, I'll repeat myself. If you have any questions, the last video I'll do is a Q&A. I'll be answering your questions. All right. So guys, it's almost 2 a.m. in the morning. This is what you call dedication for shooting a video. So until the next video, peace.